and welcome to Colins Time to Bake. This week I tried to make Mary Berry's lemon meringue pie. Let's see how it got on. Now, as some of you know, my baking videos are not always about success. Watching the Baking with the Bake Off videos will show you this. I do love a challenge and I try to do new things each week. So this week I tried to do Mary Berry's lemon meringue pie. It was quite eventful. For those who follow me on Twitter and Instagram, you will have been there for quite the wild ride that is my lemon meringue pie. So here's a lovely video about me making Mary Berry's lemon meringue pie, both the successes and the fails. So let's start by making that pastry. We need to get 225 grams of flour and 175 grams of butter, tip this into a food processor and blend together until it resembles fine breadcrumbs. Add 45 grams of icing sugar, 1 egg and 1 tablespoon of water and whiz again until combined into a ball. Tip the pastry onto the work surface and roll out to 3mm in thickness. Use a rolling pin to lift the pastry up and transfer it into a lined 23cm 9-inch loose bottomed flan tin. Love the word flan. I stuck my finger through this the first time, so I had to re-roll it. Success. Be careful not to stretch the pastry too much as you tuck it into the corners. Try and keep it nice and thick. Do not do what I did, which was trim everything off right away, but do cover it in cling film and put it in the fridge for about 30 to 40 minutes. Once it's chilled, take the pastry line tin out of the fridge. You can trim the excess now. As you know, I trimmed mine before putting it in the fridge, which I think led it to the first disaster, which you'll see soon. Line your pastry casing with parchment on the inside and fill with baking beans or rice if you don't have baking beans. Bake for about 15 minutes at 180 degrees. Then remove the beans and the parchment, return to the oven for a further 5 minutes. My first mistake of trimming off the excess did mean that the pastry was quite low in the tin and a little bit saggy, which was a bit sad. I also don't think I chilled it enough, but what are you going to do? So, I made it again. The second time was a little bit more successful. Once you take your pastry out of the oven, reduce the temperature to 170 degrees. The trouble was I'd made the second case after I'd made the first case and I'd started making the filling, so my filling had got a little bit solid because I'd made it and heated it, and then I think that probably led to what was my second mistake, possibly even third or fourth mistake. Stay tuned to see how that turned out. But in the meantime, let's get the filling ready. So take 6 lemons and zest them all, then squeeze out all the juice into a bowl. Make sure you combine them all together and mix with about 65 grams of corn flour. Stir it until it forms a smooth paste. Now the first time I did this, it was not a smooth paste, so I had to add a few bits extra corn flour. I don't think that made that much of a difference. I think there was a bit too much juice, to be honest. In a small pan, measure 450 milliliters or 16 fluid ounces of water and then bring to the boil. Oh, I didn't do that. Okay, well that might be why what's happening next kind of happened then. Add the lemon and corn flour mix over the hot water and stir until it thickens and then remove from the heat. In a bowl, mix together 250 grams of caster sugar and about 6 egg yolks and carefully whisk this into the lemon mixture in the pan. Stir over a medium heat again until thickened and set aside for a few minutes. Like I said, I'd already made this and then the second pastry had to go in the oven, so I had to turn up the heat again, which meant it sat for half an hour getting solid, so I reheated it and then poured it in after the base was ready. Didn't really work out too well, but we'll see. For the meringue, whisk the egg whites that were left over from the egg yolks. I love making meringues, but I don't like eating them. Although I wouldn't really say that my meringues are quite successful, as you can kind of see here. A little bit saggy, but what you can do. Add 225 grams of caster sugar a little bit at a time until the meringue becomes stiff and glossy. You know this because you can turn it upside down, which is quite cool. Add 2 teaspoons of corn flour and whisk again. Pour your lemon filling into the pastry case and then spoon the meringue on top. As you can see, my filling was going to be way too full, but I just kept going because I thought, why not? I don't like to question Mary's methods, aside from the fact that I do like to question Mary's methods and I really don't understand why I'm doing this wrong. But still, we'll keep going because everyone loves a trier. Bake in the oven for about 15 minutes until the filling is completely set. I have no idea how you would check that, and until the meringue is crispy and golden, which mine has done, but I just don't feel that the inside has set. No idea what I did. Yeah, mine came out the third time. It felt crisp on the outside, but felt a little bit undercooked. So what did I do? I thought, I'm gonna put this in the fridge to set. And on the way, I dropped it on the floor. Well, not so much on the floor as on the bin and on the floor and on the recycling that I was going to take out the next day. So warm or cold, or on the floor. So, as you can see, it didn't go so well this week. I did manage to cut a slice of the lemon meringue pie before I dropped it, which was a disaster because it wasn't actually set and splodged everywhere. Yay! I mean, that's the whole point of baking, is that you get to make mistakes and you get to try again and try again and try again until you get success, which hopefully this is. It still feels a little squidgy, so I'm waiting for it to completely cool before I take my chances cutting it open. If you follow me on Twitter and Instagram, you will see how this turns out. So yeah, just let everyone know that baking is great fun, but it doesn't really matter if you get it wrong the first time. You just keep trying until you get something that resembles food, and then after that happens, you get to eat it, even if it's rubbish. So I'm certainly not an expert, and I love to learn from my mistakes. Although I'm not really sure what I keep doing wrong this week. I'm sure you guys, if you know what I've been doing wrong, please comment below and tell me what I need to do, because I just cannot figure it out. So here's to next week, where I hopefully manage to make some successful bakes first time. Check me out on all the social media, and of course on my website www.colinstime2bake.com, where I've got all my blogs about my recipes. My name is Colin, this is Colin's Time to Bake. Thank you very much, and I'll see you soon.